Hi, I'm Nick, and this is my wife Gina.
Hello.
Welcome to Pepper's Grill and Chill.
Hey guys, today we're gonna make Mexican rice. And so for this recipe, I'm gonna use my cast iron pan because we like to cook with this for everything. For this recipe, I'm using 2 cups of rice, long grain rice. I'm using mixed vegetables, and that includes like lima beans, peas, carrots, and green beans. I'm using tomato chicken bouillon, so the red one. I'm also using caldo de pollo, the chicken bouillon, the green one, the pollo de nor. I am using vegetable oil. Normally this recipe can call for canola oil, but this is what we have on deck. This is what we have on hand. It's what I'm using today.
You're gonna add 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil into a preheated cast iron. You're gonna slowly add in your rice and start stirring that over a low medium heat until it gets to a golden brown.
So again, while you're making sure your rice is nice and golden, you want to keep it moving because you don't want to burn your rice. And so it's starting to change color. It's getting that nice, pretty golden brown, like kind of orangey look. And so this is when I'll turn down my heat a little bit so it doesn't burn. I like to add jalapeno. And it's just for flavor. I just cut it like this, simple, throw it in there, kind of saute it. And then this is the time where I will add my veggies. And I use about a cup of these veggies that we got from Staters for about $2, I want to say. Kind of stir that around. I'm going to add my garlic. And you can put it in whole, you can chop it, dice it, whatever. I like to use one of these little mincers. It makes it really convenient. And I feel like it releases the flavor. We like to eat a lot of garlic in this house. So. I don't know about you guys, but I use the whole garlic. I get all that good stuff. So I just mix it. It's on low heat because I don't want to burn it. Just kind of saute it, get all those flavors. And then normally around here is when you're going to want to put like your, a lot of people use like the liquid tomato sauce, but we don't have that right now, and this is what is going to work for us. So I'm using the tomato chicken bouillon, about 2 tablespoons. And I mix it while it's dry to get all that flavor to finish browning my rice. Now with chicken bouillon, be careful, it has a lot of sodium. Mexican rice, it's flavorful, but it's not, potent or too salty, so just be careful with your intake. So I'm going to start with maybe half of this. So this is also 2 tablespoons of chicken bouillon, pollo de nor. Because I already put this one in, I don't want it to be too salty, right? So far we have our jalapenos, our garlic, our seasonings, our veggies, our jalapeno. I'd also put some cilantro in here, but I don't have it right now. And so as I'm still browning it, my husband's gonna go ahead and prepare, it has to be warm. So for every cup of rice, I'm using 2.5 cups of warm water. So we're using 2 cups of rice, so that's about 5 cups of water. I don't know why it has to be warm, but that's what my abuelita taught me. Okay. So 5 cups of warm water for this recipe. Normally I take my time with this rice because I want to make everything with love. Alright, so when you have all your water in there, I'm just going to go ahead and put it on high. Get that to a boil. And one thing my abuelita taught me is she always put an egg in there to boil. I never understood why. That was just how she taught me. I'm assuming it draws out all the extra salt and maybe it helps make sure your rice is not mushy. But either way, that's what I've always done to keep that recipe alive. And then at the end, we get a hard-boiled egg to eat. Like a second feast. So I'm gonna get that to a boil. And it smells amazing. Hey guys, so I got my rice on a boil, right where I want it, and it was on like a medium high to achieve that. And so after a few minutes, once you get it to a boil, you're gonna go ahead and put a lid on it and then set it to simmer. You're gonna put it on low. Now with my stove, this low, I feel is way too high for my rice. I feel like it cooks it too fast, and when I keep it on the front burner, it's not the business. So I'm gonna move it to the back on low to simmer. Okay, so now that my back burner is on low, I'm gonna make sure I have a cover because cast irons get hot. I'm gonna push it back. And then I'm gonna put my lid. It has to be the lid with a hole, so that way it can simmer. And then I time for about 15 to 17 minutes. I normally do 17 minutes because when I'm cooking my rice, I'm helping my husband prepare, and we're doing other side dishes, and I'm making a salad or whatever. So 17 minutes. Let that simmer. Maybe after 5 minutes, a lot of people are like, don't touch the rice, but I do. I want to make sure it's not sticking to the bottom. So after 5 minutes, I'll go in and kind of fold the rice or make sure it's all stirred up, and then put the lid back on for the remainder of the time. And then it should be done. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Make sure you pull the lid like away from you so you don't get burned by all the steam because it is hot. And I'm gonna give it a quick stir. And so this would be a good opportunity to kind of taste test and see like, you know, what your rice needs. If it needs more water, if it needs more flavor. And so I'm gonna go ahead and get a clean spoon and just taste test this one. Wanna get another spoon, baby? It's pretty flavorful.
I'm gonna use one of the baby spoons. Oh yeah, that is delicious.
So I feel like at this point, it doesn't need any more salt. So I know I originally said 2 tablespoons of the tomato chicken bouillon and the regular, but we probably used, what is that? Just 1 tablespoon or even half. That's it. So it doesn't need anything else, no more. It's very flavorful, has enough salt. You don't want it too salty. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on simmer, and it's still on low. I'm not gonna touch it anymore for about 10.5 minutes. Okay guys, it's been about 17 minutes. Our timer went off. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the stove off, and I'm gonna let it rest for about 5 to 10 minutes. So I'm just gonna say 7 minutes. And that's it, we'll be back. All right, so we're here for the big reveal. I let the rice rest for far too long. I am preparing other things for dinner, and that's the beauty of it. Once it rests, like, you don't have to worry about it. So we're gonna go ahead and take the lid off, and we're gonna taste test. We're gonna fold the rice, not squish it. And here's a spoon for you. Cheers. Very good, very flavorful. Okay, so I went ahead and reheated some steak from before. from the other night. We're gonna serve it with some rice and hey! Get. Hungry husbands, can't trust them. All right, so here we go. I like to serve it with some chips. And top it with some avocado. And then some homemade salsa that my husband made the other night. Beautiful.
Looks amazing, babe. And that's it. We'll see you next time
See you
on
next
Pepper's
time.
Grill and Chill.